Well, the parliamentary hearings into Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office continue today. In fact, they're still underway. Mkhwebane is the first public protector to face an impeachment. A legal expert has been outlining the functions of the public protector. He's now facing questions from MPs. Our reporter Lindsay Dentlinger joins us now. So, Lindsay, it's still on the go. Talk to us about this first witness.
Well, it's been a really long day for Hassan Ibrahim, Sally, who's been on the, in the witness seat since 10 o'clock this morning. 2 bouts of load shedding notwithstanding. He's still, as you say, facing questions now from MPs. But really, he spent the morning setting out the importance of the Public Protector's Office. He was the former Executive Director of the Constituent Assembly, so he was the man who was around at the time when the Constitution was drafted and making those amendments. And he was explaining to this committee what the thinking was behind the creation of a Public Protector's Office, how unique it is around the world that South Africa took it. An Ombuds Office is what we know around the world, taken it one step further and really trying to impress on them the importance of what this office means, that the person who holds this post should be one that is beyond reproach, somebody who is fit and proper, and that the work of that office really reaches the public. He's pointed out that as the name bears out, there to protect the interests of the public and to keep an oversight over government, and also telling MPs that as they wade through these uncharted waters, that they've been watched around the world as to what they do, and that this decision that they take from this inquiry should really not be informed by their political leanings, but that it should be taken in the interest of South Africans and the public, whom the Public Protector is here to serve, and also saying that the remedial actions of her office should really be binding, and that this committee should really think about the far-reaching consequences that it could have should it come to pass that the incumbent is removed from office. But here is some of the explanation he provided to the committee earlier today.
In my home, I have many children and grandchildren. They talk a lot about superheroes. Maybe constitutionally, Public Protector is one of those superheroes, really. And I'll talk a little bit about it because the Public Protector has a vast array of measures available to the Public Protector to take remedial action in response to maladministration and corruption. Essentially, my children and grandchildren grew up with this idea of superheroes being able to solve all problems and deal with all sorts of difficulties and so on. And this is what really comes about. The Public Protector occupies a unique position in our constitutional order. And that's really very important, because the office is neither a court nor an administrative decision maker. The Public Protector cannot realize the constitutional purpose of her office if other organs of state may second-guess her findings and ignore her recommendations.
The Public Protector was suspended by the President ahead of this process. The witness had something to say about that as well. Tell us more.
Well, the start of the cross-examination from the Public Protector's legal representative, Darlene Mpofu, I think shocked MPs here, because he really questioned this witness' expertise and his credentials right off the bat, asking whether he thought he was an expert in these matters. Mr. Ibrahim not prepared to call himself an expert, rather saying he has years of experience. He's worked in the United Nations, and so believed that he had a lot of experience to weigh in on this debate. But he was very cautious not to be caught up in a web of questioning from Mpofu that related particularly to Busisiwe Mkhwebane's suspension. You will recall that that was really a central argument that was made here yesterday too. And Mpofu trying to elicit from this witness whether he thought that the suspension was unlawful. As I say, the witness very cautious not to wade too deeply into those waters, saying that this was really untested territory, but believe that, well, he didn't go as far as to say that he didn't think the suspension was unlawful, but certainly didn't think that by Mr. Mpofu's argument that this committee should have waited until the public protector was maybe found wanting on particular wrongdoing before she was suspended, and that by virtue of these proceedings having been begun, that it was sufficient to suspend her at this point. And I should point out that this committee has no control over the suspension, although Mr. Mpofu would differ with that opinion, saying that this committee couldn't distance itself from the fact that the President had suspended the public protector for these proceedings. But here is that exchange that took place between them on this particular point.
The issue really is the suspension takes place, if I may read it, it says, may suspend the person from office at any time after the start of the proceedings. So if the committee had started working, it will be sufficient enough to allow for that suspension to start, to come into operation.
Right. And if the removal proceedings have not started?
If the committee had not started work.
No, don't talk about work. There's no, do you see the word work here?
No, after the start of proceedings of the committee, yes.
So if the removal proceedings have not started?
It has to take place after the start of the proceedings of the committee.
All right, we'll let Lindsay Detlinger get back to those MPs questioning the first witness in the impeachment hearing of the public protector. Thanks, Lindsay.